Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Where Is This Going? I'm your host, Hunter Miles, and this is Where Is This Going? A podcast about artists you may not know yet, but hopefully will soon grow to at least appreciate at the very end of the day. Welcome back. If you're joining us again, if this is your first time listening, watching the podcast, thank you so much for coming by. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Hit that bell so you know when we have a podcast premiering. And yeah, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at @_Hunter Miles and on TikTok at Hunter Miles Comedy. You can also check out the Facebook page. But today in the studio joining us again, because he has been on the podcast before, but more behind the scenes type. Still getting some camera time, but now you can see the full him in better lighting. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Sam Berlin. You can follow him on Instagram at Sam Berlin Got Jokes.
Yeah,
there's dots in there.
Yeah, there's like two of those accounts floating around.
Yeah.
One of them got hacked, so look for the one that says Sam Berlin Got Jokes in like the profile picture.
Right, and it says because you just made that too. Yeah, it's not your Facebook profile picture as well.
It is that also.
Yes.
So, but that's easier to find because you just type in Sam Berlin and
right. So yeah, it'll be Sam Berlin Got Jokes. And this is Sam Berlin.
Let
and
me double check if it's
I just checked.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Sam Berlin Got
on
Jokes.
top of it, man.
Yeah, and is that on Twitter as well?
I don't even really use Twitter. I should.
So it doesn't even matter, dude. But just check out his
TikTok.
Instagram.
I don't know. I'm like a old middle-aged white man. Someone shows me a new app, and I'm like,
please no,
no, not another one.
I was very reluctant, as this podcast knows. I was very reluctant to get on TikTok, but now I'm there, and now it's going decent.
It's not even about the Chinese. I'm like a one China
exactly,
guy.
man. I'm all here for China. First off, first things first, I am a China sympathizer. Sammy B is, of course, a local Grand Rapids comic. You can see him performing all the time. Where are you at here in January?
Well, when is this coming out? You said middle?
Yeah, mid. So maybe next week or the week after.
Well, one, you can always catch me at Tip Top doing the old DJ, running the ones and twos.
He was not there this past Tuesday, but he will be there others.
I was drinking in isolation and listening to Ween.
Oh. What was wrong this week?
It was just one of those nights, you know. You need a break,
dude.
You know,
sometimes you need a break.
But so I'm usually there DJing and shit like that. So Tuesdays at Tip Top 9:00.
Oh yeah.
And then on the 15th, of course, Make It Spicy Comedy at Mulligan's. And then
every Sunday at Mulligan's.
Like 20 minutes ago, I got message from the people that do the lowdown down in Kalamazoo.
Yep, and they just got moved
to Shakespeare's.
Yeah. So shout out to Emily Moe and Scott Overholt.
Always want to give them a shout out. They're awesome.
Yeah, they're super dope. They were running Lowdown Comedy at the Low Dough Company in Kalamazoo, I believe, Kalamazoo Reportage. But now the Low Dough just last week or this week shut down. They closed their doors. People gathered on their last Saturday open for one last drink. But Scott and Emily are not ending that show. That show is moving, I believe, to Shakespeare's.
Yeah, that's what it said.
And so you'll be there on the 18th?
I've seen posters for that place before. Yeah. 7:00 the 18th.
Hell yeah. There used to be a lot of comedy at Shakespeare's in Kalamazoo. Before the pandemic and stuff like that. So I'm glad that we got comedy back there. So that's the 18th at 7.
Yep. And then the 21st, I got to go. All I have written is Demented Peach at 9:00.
I would imagine that's a Kalamazoo show.
Yep. Yeah. The 21st Saturday. So I'll have to figure out where exactly that's at.
Yep. Well, if this is already out and
shout out Demented Peach.
Hell yeah, shout out Demented Peach. This show would be done by the time this podcast comes out, but I'm doing a Demented Peach showcase, the first one of the year, this week at Main Street Pub, and I assume that's probably where that one's going to be too. But
Might be.
Yeah, but they do shows at a ton of different venues. Shout out Demented Peach. Check them out. You guys know John and Demetria have been here before. And if you haven't seen that episode, go ahead and check that out. It's on the playlist of all of the playlist. All of your Where Is This Going episodes can be found on YouTube in the Where Is This Going podcast playlist, and as well as some of my stand-up comedy is also on there. End of January.
And then there's also, there's Garage Bar. I'll shout it out.
Hell yeah, shout out Garage Bar.
Joseph.
Yeah, I was just there this week again as well.
And then I got Sunday Night Funnies, which is at Woody's Press Box.
Yep, Spectrum Entertainment Complex.
Yeah, it's a bowling alley.
Yeah, dude. Right next to Craig's Cruisers.
That place
in
is
Grand
dope.
Rapids or Wyoming, whatever. But yeah, hell of a great show too. Always a good room. See the man, see Sammy B do comedy.
And then I've got nothing for February because I'm not productive. I'll get to that later at the end of the month or something.
Well, I'll start looking at next month at the end of this month.
The most proactive comedian.
Me, myself, neither. I have one date so far for February. And you guys can see me hosting the hell out of Art Battle Grand Rapids. Go ahead, get your tickets for that. That'll be fun. Yeah, Art Battle Grand Rapids on February 18th over at Zeal Aerial Fitness. But yeah, you can get your tickets for that at artbattle.com. I believe it's Grand Rapids Art Battle Grand Rapids. Sorry, I know I've flip-flopped on those both. It's called Art Battle Grand Rapids.
You get the point.
Shout out to our new sponsors, also for Art Battle Grand Rapids in February on the 18th. Removery, which is, I think it's Grand Rapids. It's a laser tattoo removal experts there in Grand Rapids. So that's awesome.
Those tramp stamps.
Yeah, I guess they have multiple. They got a lot of different places.
I met a guy
U.S.,
with a
Canada,
tattoo on
Australia
his dick one time.
Wow.
And I'm wondering if he'll ever get that removed.
I would imagine the laser removal process might be just as, if not more, painful than the tattoo when it comes to a tattoo on your pee-pee.
Yeah.
Pee-pee tats.
I don't want the Death Star on my penis.
Well, is that what it was? He had the Death Star on his penis?
No. I'm just saying, like, the laser.
Oh, the laser is the Death Star. Okay, yeah, that makes more sense.
That'd be pretty impressive. It's just like the head of his dick was just like the ray gun on the Death Star.
You know, I 10 points for artistry and just imagination.
Really like using the skin to his advantage.
It's all about the negative space, you know. So Sammy B, it's been a long time since you've seen the podcast, or you've been on the podcast, I should say. We started trying to get this thing segmented out to guide the conversations, guide the episodes.
I'm down.
As you were. First off, how was your last set? When was your last set? When did you go up last?
Honestly, I think my last set. Let me look at my calendar again. Sorry, guys.
Mm-hmm.
There's a fucking bong right here. I don't remember dick. Oh yeah, I was at.
You didn't do anything after nothing in the new year yet?
No, not yet. I haven't done anything in the new year yet. This is my first comedy-related thing I've done in the new year. So, yeah, Happy New Year, whatever. But no, I did Tip Top. That was the last thing that I did.
Oh, yeah, last week's Tip Top?
Yeah, not this past Tuesday, but the Tuesday before that.
Right.
Yeah, I did that. I had a good set. I liked that set. Alex said I was rolling on that one. A-Plot. Shout out to A-Plot.
Shout out A-Plotty, friend of the pod.
The Tip Top.
Yeah.
But yeah, he said I had a good set, and so I felt good about it. Some new shit that I've been kind of running and stuff. Trying to be less, I don't know, trying to be like less surface level with my jokes.
Yeah.
Less like, I'm a dumb stoner. You know what I mean? More substance to the jokes.
I'm trying to add more, what do you say, substance to my comedy.
Less surface level. I don't know. I found myself getting like bored of some of the shit I was writing, and so I kind of wanted to challenge myself. And so I've been just doing like a lot of those like workout kind of sets and figuring shit out.
Right, trying to figure out a different way of wording and things like that. I've
done a lot of that lately, which I really like. That I feel like I haven't found any like solid go-to jokes in a while, only because I'm just like going on to the next one right after.
And you're working on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it does. It's good to find a point, hit a point where you're just like kind of not happy with anything that you're doing, because it shows that at least you are progressing, if not your writing.
Yeah.
But like your standards for writing are progressing.
Exactly.
Which is, your standards should always be evolving, I think, as a comedian, because you can't settle for what was good enough for where you were in comedy.
Yeah, and I think one thing too that I was trying to figure out, and I think a lot of people, anytime they like get into something, I mean, I've been doing it like 3 years now, and in like that first like year and a half, I mean, I'd even say 2 years, it was a lot of like me just trying to figure out how to execute the setup and punch, and do like the motion of it. And now I'm like, okay, I feel like I kind of got like the equation. Now let's start like putting different shit into it.
Yeah, now let's start plugging different things into it.
Like now let's start, maybe throwing a little bit more of my personality in or my like personal stories.
Right.
And, now that I've got like this little kind of system for myself, I can kind of start doing more with it.
In algebra, it'd be like I don't know the exact.
I'm not doing basic algebra.
But
anymore.
you're elaborating the functions basically.
Pythagorean theorem and all that shit.
And all that
that's
shit.
Geometry, right?
But I mean,
you get the gist.
It's geometry, but that is an algebraic equation. Anyways, doesn't matter.
Let's not board the listener.
Right. But yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean. And again, like I said, it's evolving as a writer. My last set was last night at River City. River City Saloon, always interesting. There was the show kicked off with, shout out Carl Sobel on the pod, or shout out. He's been on the pod, of course. He hosts River City every Wednesday night.
Carl, I just want to say, is ripped for no reason at all.
No, dude, it's the rock climbing.
He's got the forearms of a drug addict.
Yeah, you see
not the scars, it's
the veins
ripped.
You see the veins popping, dude. It's because it's all the rock climbing, dude. Carl's hella fit, rock climber. And comedian, obviously.
Hilarious rock climber.
Yeah, so he's a hilarious rock climber.
It'd be funny to watch him rock
climber. A pretty good comedian, but a hilarious rock climber. But yeah, at River City, the show started off interesting. Last Sunday, over at Spicy, there was a guy who came up to me and was like, "Hey, man," because I was just trying to get people to come into the show. He was like, "Hey, man, how do I sign up for the comedy here?" And I was like, "Well, I can introduce you to the host, or you can just look up the page on Facebook." He's like, "Cause I
drunk and want to do it right now."
No. So he goes, "Cause I don't want to go tonight, but I placed last in my fantasy football league, and my punishment was to do 5 minutes of stand-up comedy."
Get more creative, guys.
Also, I love so much that our passion is someone else's punishment.
Yeah, no shit. Like, talk in front of people.
Talk in front of people?
You picked the Browns quarterback, you idiot.
You idiot. You couldn't find a good offense.
Yeah.
You couldn't find a good offensive threat all year, so you're going to have to break into an industry.
Yeah, you lost to the guy that stopped paying attention to the league.
And also, so anyways, that guy came up to me at Mulligan's on Sunday, and apparently he had someone put him in contact with Carl.
Oh no.
Whether it be between Sunday and Wednesday or just last night at the show. But so this guy opened up the show. And Carl had like the same sentiment. He goes, "I'm glad to see that something that we work so hard on and spend hours and hours on is just someone else's punishment for losing fantasy football." But he went up, and that was awful. Only because his friends in the back who were also a part of the league were also awful during his set.
They were interrupting their own buddy's set.
They were heckling the hell out of him, and I thought it would stop with him, so I thought it was pretty funny.
But then it continued.
But then they continued through everyone else's set.
Were they the kind of guys that were like, make fun of us?
Kind of a little bit, but then they were just more like, next joke, next.
Fuck you.
Yeah, and so that was always.
I'm going to keep talking about women's sports. Fuck you, group of douchebags.
which is a big step for me. If you've been listening to the podcast, it's a big step for me to not yell at people and tell them, shut the fuck up politely. Shut up.
I get like confused by people when they do like ridiculous shit. I'm just like, what?
I can't even. It's very Italian of you. What are you
What
doing?
are you fucking doing?
What are you doing?
What the fuck is this?
But
Why are you disappointing me? Why you hurt my heart?
why you break my
hurt
heart? My set overall went pretty well. Got a good clip out of it. Carl recorded me. I just posted that today.
Yeah.
Also, if you see it, just remember it's a newer joke. So there's still more to work on. But yeah, then tonight you're invited, but obviously you won't come because you have to work in the morning. Every Thursday, comedy night at Parrots Lounge.
The old dirty bird.
The old dirty bird.
Another thing too is like, what am I gonna do from here until 9 o'clock in Zealand? Like, I'm not gonna drive back home to Grand Rapids.
Yeah, you're right.
We're in the middle
hours.
of nowhere. I drove through grass to get here, guys.
I drove through grass to get here, dude.
Fucking dedication to the content.
I mean, there's a great coffee shop. Shout out to Lamangelo's. Just celebrated 20 years. Opened yesterday, actually.
Where?
That's downtown Holland.
Starbucks hasn't gotten them yet.
No, Starbucks is still here, but they ain't making impact on my boys and ladies and non-binary people who may be also working at Lamangelo's.
It's a coffee shop.
Yeah, dude.
Much to be expected.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some non-bis.
Which is great. I love getting a scone from someone that's also confused like me.
Exactly, dude. Aren't we all just confused vessels? Confused
We're
about
all just
something or else.
floating.
But yeah, no, shout out to Matthew Scott, owner, operator of Lamangelo's, celebrated 20 years of operation. Also, shout out to Jimmy. Shout out to Jim. Versluis. He's been on the podcast before. You'll catch him slinging some brews.
I was gonna say,
now
does
and there.
Jimmy makes sandwiches. I was waiting to see what Jimmy does.
No, Jim's he's a barista. He's a barista.
Oh, we're still talking about the coffee shop?
Yep.
Okay.
Huh? He's a baker? He doesn't even barista anymore? He never did? That makes sense.
He makes the
because
apple turnovers
he
and
is
shit.
one of the sweatier ones in there, actually.
Ooh, good greasy baker.
Almost
You know,
every
shit's
time
good.
Jimmy is the sweatiest one in there. And maybe it's just I catch him while he's still in and cleaning stuff up, and I assume he's giving me my drink.
He's just standing over some piping hot scones.
Ooh, piping hot.
Piping hot, ready to go.
Making them dangle cookies, those dangle snickerdoodles.
Ooh, a good snickerdoodle.
But is he making the other stuff now too? Because they actually have food.
Can we talk about snickerdoodle cookies for a sec?
We definitely can.
Snickerdoodle cookies are an adult cookie.
Yeah. Then I'll color myself mature from a young age.
I've always liked snickerdoodle cookies too, but I just feel like a snickerdoodle cookie is kind of like you appreciate it more and more as you get older.
Yeah,
you
because
know?
the chocolate chip is played out. It's too
it's everywhere.
obviously, and everyone's doing a chocolate chip.
Yeah.
It's very hard to you can't find packaged snickerdoodles.
And then it's chocolate chip cookies are so done. There's so many versions of them. There's the soft.
Right.
I mean, you literally have
Which I do like the
you
chewy.
literally have like medium rare and like well done cookies out here.
Especially when it comes to Chips Ahoy.
Dude, crumble cookie, you cut one of them motherfuckers open. It's got like different colors inside of it, like a
can't-
good prime fucking
Those are
beef.
too rich, too sweet. I don't
You
got
can only eat like a quarter of one.
I don't got a sweet tooth like that.
I do. I like a good cookie.
My girlfriend's cat sitter left her a box of crumble cookies, to welcome her back home, which I thought was very sweet.
Bong rip.
Yes, I'll take one. But I looked at all those crumble cookies, and my girlfriend offered me. She was like, "You want any?" I was like, "There's icing and stuff on them."
Yeah,
and
see,
I can't do all that.
I feel that. One of the things I've done with a crumble cookie before, my work will get them from people. A lot of people will bring them into us and shit. And I'll take like a plastic knife and just like pop that shit right.
Yeah,
the fuck
that's
off.
a smart move.
Because then it's just a sugar cookie. You just got like a dank ass sugar cookie. It's literally
That's well made, very thick.
Yeah, it's literally like a rare cookie. It's like literally a different color.
It's
on the
really
inside.
soft on the middle.
Yeah.
You can get stuff like that too at Insomnia Cookies. But for me,
see, I haven't tried that place. What's the thought on that place?
So for me, Insomnia Cookies was huge in college because it's big in almost every college town.
Okay.
When I was up in CMU in Mount Pleasant, there was an Insomnia Cookies because they deliver as well, which is also a big
college
thing.
Kids wanting cookies.
Exactly.
See, that's one thing. I'm gonna be all over the place, but like I can't eat sweets when I'm drinking.
I can't eat sweets barely ever.
I need something like salty when I'm drinking, something savory.
Yeah,
you know?
I do have to be very stoned to just like rip through some Oreos or something.
Yeah, and then like if you're tripping, I want like fresh fruit and shit like that. You know, I wanna feel refreshed from what I'm eating.
When I'm on psychedelics, it's got to be something juicy.
Oh yeah, like a good peach. A good peach when you're on like 5 grams of mushrooms. You're just on a heroic dose and you got a peach in your hand. Oh, it's beautiful.
I feel like gushers on any psychedelic drug are just a mind blow.
See, I haven't done that. I usually stay away from anything processed when I'm on the old shroom.
Which makes sense. Yeah, you're like only natural from here on
I get real granola boy out of nowhere.
Mushrooms really brings out the inner granola.
Yeah, I get real Colorado out of nowhere.
Speaking of Colorado, you went to Colorado this past year for a wedding.
Yeah, my best friend got married. Shout out to the homie.
To my best friend.
I added that to my resume.
Hell yeah,
that
dude.
I have a married friend.
Nice. And it shows responsibility.
Yep.
Yes, not just for you, but for those you keep.
Yeah, it's like I surround myself with good people. I want my employer to know that I'm not only applicable, but I surround myself with other applicable people.
Yes, also
I am what I surround myself with.
The jobs you are applying to are also just weed shop jobs.
Just other dispensaries.
Yeah. But you ran into one of my high school friends while you were in Colorado, which was completely
Alyssa, right?
Yeah, shout out Alyssa.
And her boyfriend Adine.
Yes, very cool.
Oh, actually, fiance. They're engaged now.
Yes, they are now.
So
engaged.
congrats to them.
Congrats and shouts out. Alyssa actually spit in my face and punched me in the face in middle school, and I haven't forgotten. But
now that turns you on.
No, not at all. Actually, it was a very good awakening for me to be like, I don't like this.
I'm a pretty vanilla guy.
I'm a pretty vanilla guy now that I didn't come to it. No, yeah, she was one of my. She also showed me meat spin. So everything about Alyssa just showed me
meat spin, like when you eat too much meat and you start sweating and shit.
No, those are the meat sweats.
Oh, okay. Because I've gotten meat sweats and spins before.
Shout out meatspin.com. Which
this sounds rough.
And it's early aughts. No one knows what it is now because I'm sure that domain name has been shut down.
Yeah.
Oh, it's still there?
Oh. We just got word it's still there.
Shout out to Jackie doing the much needed research. Meatspin.com in middle school for me was it was rough because it ruined multiple songs for me. So basically, I'll just let you know. The old right round, you spin my head right round.
Okay.
That was just playing on a loop while a penist person was riding another penis. And their penis, the person riding, was just doing like a helicopter type motion.
Fuck yeah.
And it Meat Spin, the website, was just counting the spins. And once you hit a certain number of spins, I believe it was 69. I could be wrong.
I'm gonna watch a lot of dick spinning around.
It would just let you know that you were officially gay.
That's what the website was?
Yeah. But it would just continuously play that on a loop, obviously, with the same
legendary
song. So yeah, Alyssa showed that to me in 6th or 7th grade. And
so it's like you had 69 times where you could have stopped watching this dick spin around, but you kept watching, and now you're gay.
Yeah. Because, but also, I think anyone is just gonna let it play because they're like, is there a jump scare at the end?
Yeah, you're
Or,
expecting like something.
Is there a jump scare? Does
I mean,
somebody
a cum shot at least.
exactly? Does somebody came?
Is this porn or is this like
Or is this
a prank video?
Yes. Is it porn or prank?
Yeah, porn. That's a great
Porn or
segment.
prank? 2 girls, 1 cup. Was that a porn or is it a prank to send your friends?
Did any of them die from that? I don't think.
No,
any
not
of them,
two.
no?
Not 2 girls, 1 cup.
I feel like you
The
get an
Pain
infection.
Olympics. The Pain Olympics.
That
Porn or prank?
That's a prank.
That's a prank you send to your friends to make them watch someone cut their dick off.
Yeah, if your buddy like turns around and is like thanks, you're like whoa.
What? He goes,
Stay away
I
from
never
that
meant
guy.
to. I never got to thank you for sending me that crazy link.
Yeah.
I started all that Colorado talk just to
Talk about porn.
no, because I wanted to bring
yeah.
up my high school friends and ask you who you were friends with in high school, like what type
What
of
kind of people?
Yeah, what type
this
of
is a
people?
good conversation.
Because my friends were sadistic.
Were you hanging out with like the devil worshipping meth smokers?
No, not.
okay.
That seemed pretty telling of where you were. Where did you grow up?
Well, so I went to a couple different schools. Like when I was
Okay.
younger, I actually went to a Catholic private school in Grand Rapids, and then I transferred and started going to Caledonia, which is
Was it Grand Rapids Catholic Central?
no, I went to Immaculate Heart of Mary, which if I would have stayed,
Immaculate Heart of Mary.
it's a small little, K through 8
Yeah.
fucking. But I would have gone to Catholic Central, but my sister went to Catholic Central.
Okay. How old's your sister? I mean,
think
how much older than you? I guess.
think my sister's 30 now.
Yeah, you guys are
29,
very.
30, 7 years older than me.
You guys
I'm
are very
23.
close. Yeah.
Yeah, well, she lives in St. Paul.
Okay.
Yeah, which is dope. St. Paul's cool. I haven't been out there yet.
I was gonna say, which is dope. Get to visit her out in St. Paul. Just kidding. Haven't been
I
there.
haven't been there yet. I mean, what am I gonna do in St. Paul? Like
Was
a
it
Twins
just-
game and get drunk?
Right.
I could do that in Detroit.
Shout out Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Was it just you and your sister growing up?
No, I have a little brother as well.
How much younger is he?
He's 2 years younger than me.
All right, so you guys were a lot closer, I'm sure.
Yeah, but also, me and my sister were pretty close. I think we both didn't get along with our dad, so it was very much
Nice.
like like me shouting out messages to her like, how do I get through this or that, and
But
she was really
did you guys
helpful.
have different dads? Or
No,
the
we had
dad?
same dad.
Okay,
Or no,
okay.
no. So actually, well, technically, different dads, but my father adopted her at a very young age, so we grew up with the same dad. And
Gotcha.
yeah, she called him dad, and but all that bullshit.
And we grew up with this same dad that neither of us liked.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. But like, yeah, family shit. Oh yeah, but other schools that I went to. Then I ended up going to Caledonia for a little bit, and then my mom lives out in Muskegon, so my dad was just like, fuck you, sent me off to my mom's out in Muskegon. I went to Muskegon High School for a little bit.
Ooh, Big Reds.
Go Big Reds.
Shout out Big Reds.
Hell yeah. But then I actually ended up transferring back to Caledonia, which then I was later kicked out and I got my GED. So
No
I
graduation
hung
for
out
this
with
kid.
a lot of different people in high
yeah.
school, actually.
Well, yeah, I mean, even from Caledonia to Muskegon,
Big jump.
Yeah, hugely different crowds. But growing up, you grew up mostly in Grand Rapids. You're out in Muskegon for a little bit.
Yeah, and even when I was going to school in Caledonia, my mom was still living in Grand Rapids. So a lot of times I'd be staying in Grand Rapids but going to school in Caledonia. and
Which
stuff.
isn't-
not ideal.
Caledonia is just another outskirt of Grand Rapids.
Yeah,
basically.
it's south
20
of
minutes.
It's south of Countwood.
Yeah, so
Is that where you went?
no, I was here.
Oh, in Zealand?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I went to Zealand East, Fire Up Chicks. Not much else to say about it.
Fire
really.
up checks. Seen a couple high school football games at your guys' stadium.
Oh yeah, dude, we got it. We got a nice
My
one.
sister played high school football. That's a fun sentence to say. My sister is used to be my older brother.
Right.
And she's
Nice.
state champion defensive end.
And she's okay. So she's 7 years older than you then.
Yep.
So
Class of 2010.
2010, graduated same year as my cousin. Doesn't matter.
No.
Jackie graduated the next year, right? Yeah, 2011. Hell yeah. I need you. Hell yeah.
Fun times.
And she graduated from Caledonia?
No, she graduated from Catholic Central.
Oh, yeah, duh.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah, after my parents got divorced, Fording Catholic school was not,
it wasn't for everyone.
yeah, I don't even think they could really afford it when they were together, so it really couldn't happen when they separated.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But that's okay.
I would also imagine your sister had a rough time growing up trans in a Catholic school.
Yeah, that's definitely like a journey that I don't understand.
Right. You're like, I can't speak.
Yeah,
on it,
but when my sister, it was definitely, and what was really interesting about my sister is like she didn't really come out as trans until a lot later, like 26, 27, I think. And so it was definitely a long, like hard journey for her and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Especially not having a good relationship with my father. My father's very like old school and Catholic and stuff.
I would imagine, yeah.
So, and then, yeah, there was probably years of just ignoring it until like you couldn't anymore. And I just can't imagine that, you know?
Yeah. And yeah, the Catholic setup probably just doesn't allow.
Yeah, no,
for
you're
much
like
comfort
literally
there at all.
Yeah, you're like literally like hardwired to like suppress things.
Yeah,
and you know, I find myself doing that with just, you know, things in general. You just suppress.
Right. Why ever bring it up?
Italian Catholic family. It's just like under the rug we go.
Yeah. And I mean, even in like my family was like deeply Pentecostal growing up.
Also very suppressive.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Just because it's literally any trauma or anything. If you
we just don't talk about
exactly. If you haven't prayed, if you haven't given it to God,
you got to pray about it.
Yeah, dude. You just gotta give it to God and move on. I'm like, I don't think everything.
Oh, you got molested? Do 10 Hail Marys.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that really does.
Are you making this my fault?
Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm just saying you gotta talk to God to get over it, dude. But so you grew up Catholic, but not really, or were you?
Yeah, no, I grew
you
up
guys were in
Catholic. At
mass all
one
the
point,
time?
it was definitely like church every Sunday. I played football, basketball, baseball. It was like there were literally
you're pretty tall, athletic.
You would wake
guy.
up. You would wake up on Sunday morning, and you would like go to church and then like play a football game.
Right.
I was like praise God and then give each other concussions. You know, and then we always played against like the other Catholic schools and stuff.
Right.
And
we would have. My church, or like a bunch of people from my church, started doing Thanksgiving games.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, which it was fun, but the first couple
The weather's
years,
always shit.
Yeah, dude, the weather's never great, and the first couple years tensions definitely rose high, and people definitely forgot that they were supposed to be at a Christian event.
Yeah, and it's like this is just like supposed to be like a thing for a holiday,
right?
Like maybe even like raise money and stuff.
Yeah, no, this is just supposed to be like a
turkey day bowl,
a men's get together to help fellowship in our Christian community.
Spread the word of Christ through football.
What
other way would you spread
the word of Christ in a spread offense?
Yeah,
and it got heated a lot, but I also never felt more confident until after like my second or third game in that, where I was just like, you know what, I can play with big kids.
I can play with the big ones.
But yeah, we might have talked about this on an earlier podcast. I feel like we have, but you're about 3 years into comedy, give or take a few months, or what?
3 and something, whatever.
Yeah, 3 and some change. When did comedy first? How were you introduced to stand-up comedy as an art form?
Well, I mean, you probably relate to this. I think anyone, even people older than me, can probably relate to this. When I was younger, so probably even a lot of people's like high school time, but when I was younger, Comedy Central just always had stand-up specials on, just running throughout the day.
Especially throughout the day, they would just have like their 30-minute specials.
Literally,
like
you'd be sitting in like the lobby of a doctor's office.
The Comedy Central presents.
Exactly. And so that was the kind of the exposure to it. I always enjoyed watching those. Super early, my sister had showed me like some of the basics, like Daniel Tosh, and like then I started paying attention to like Dave Attell and like, you know, Patrice and stuff. And when I started getting like deeper, like more like comedy fan, where I started like searching for it and shit. And
those are good great comedians to start out with, though.
Yeah.
Because obviously Daniel Tosh was.
Of course, Chappelle. I mean, Chappelle's show was just always there.
And that's the thing, too.
That was also in between the Comedy Presents stand-up specials was the Chappelle show.
Chappelle's show, which is just more comedy sketches with other hilarious stand-ups in them that you would later on see again in life.
Find.
That's why I love the Chappelle show so much, because you look back on it and you see, obviously Neil Brennan created it, but he's also in some great sketches.
Right.
You see Bill Burr, you see Donnell Rawlings, Wayne Brady.
Yep.
But obviously I'm forgetting a ton more.
No, there's so many people.
There's so many great comedians that were in that. But I was saying it is great to start out with such great comedians basically being introduced to you, because I didn't find Dave Attell until like years into like really loving stand-up. But like for me, it was like third, fourth, fifth grade. That's when I became like inundated with stand-up so much so that like did you ever have what's it called? A talent show? Did you ever have talent shows in school growing up?
No, we never. The school I went to, there was never really talent shows, and even if there was, I might not have known about them. But I was I was a jock in school for sure. Like I played sports. Sure. Yeah, I played soccer in high school. I played football. I played basketball, baseball. Like
when did you make the transition from football to soccer? Because that's usually how it goes.
So when I transferred to Muskegon, they are a
really great,
very historically successful program.
Really great at football.
They've sent a lot of players into D1 college football.
Almost all of them black.
Yep, 100%. If they're white, it's a quarterback.
Exactly, it's absurd.
Ridiculously good. He's good. But yeah, so when I was making the transfer out there, I realized that I played defensive back at the time, and the position I would have been playing was already taken by a guy who was a sophomore that already committed to Virginia Tech.
Yes.
So I was like, we're going to make a switch.
That's when you were like, you know what? Maybe the soccer squad could use it.
Yeah, and it was
seems like a neglected area here.
And it was dope because I was like, if I would have played football, I would have been the only white guy. And so when I went and played soccer, still the only white guy. Because it was instead of
much
being
more brown people though.
Yeah, it was all like Hispanics and shit.
Hell yeah, which is closer to your shade.
Yeah, a little bit closer.
If you were more Italian,
when they asked me where where I came from, I said Caledonia, and for about a week they misheard what I said, and they all thought I was from Cambodia, and I couldn't connect why they thought that.
I thought you were going to say California.
No, but hey, that makes sense. Yeah. But no,
I transferred from Cambodia.
Yeah, and they're like, "Oh shit, this guy's gonna like kick someone's head off. Like, who is this guy?"
We don't know how they play in Asia, dude.
Yeah, but no, and then I cleared the air and I was like, no, Caledonia, Grand Rapids.
Yeah, Caledonia is actually a city.
I wouldn't say a city.
In this state,
it's like
it's a village in this state.
The thing I didn't like about living in Caledonia is, one, I didn't have a lot of money growing up, and the people in Caledonia, they acted like they had a lot of money, but they just had a really big like credit line. You know what I mean? Like they weren't East Grand Rapids money,
right?
Like they can go to fucking kick rocks. They ain't got shit compared to Forest Hills.
That is true. Exactly. It's not Forest Hills.
They just got a fucking 6-year loan on a fucking ridiculous SUV.
I was just at Caledonia not too long ago for my job, and also shout out to my old. Jackie, did you have Pennington as a history teacher? Oh yeah, civics and econ. Coach, yeah, I'll call him Coach Pennington. I don't think he was much of a teacher, but
the coaches were never much of teachers. No, they were there to coach.
They were definitely there to coach. But Coach Pennington was. He was the varsity football coach at Zeeland East, and then he was also a civics and econ guy. He was there to coach civics and econ as well, and other history classes. Let me coach this class real quick.
Let me just coach.
You give me the playbook. You mean the curriculum? Yeah, sure, whatever.
Yeah.
Hand it
Starts
over.
drawing X's and O's. They're like, what the fuck? It's like, there's how trickle economics works.
Yeah.
It's just an offensive line.
Trickle-down economics. It's a kickoff.
Yeah. So like you see the kamikazes in the middle are going to creak through.
No,
Bam.
this is what you call
Reagan.
a wedge breaker.
So we're going to choke them out like
Right.
we would with stocks. We're going to short them.
Like we would choke out the market. He was a varsity football coach at our school for years.
Had a pretty decent football program.
Well, Zealand West had the great football program. We had a decent football program.
I forgot they built a wall between the
No, not a wall.
Zealand East and
a
Zealand
walkway.
West.
A walkway. They built now it's a covered walkway.
You got the Zealand Wall.
Yeah, the Berlin Zealand Wall. But yeah, he was our varsity football coach for a while, and then he moved to Caledonia apparently in the last couple of years, and just won a state championship with Caledonia, which he could never do with Zealand East.
They won us. Wait, Caledonia won a state championship?
Oh yeah, Caledonia won
This year?
this past
Oh,
year.
well, good for them.
So shout out Caledonia.
Yeah, they kicked me out, but good for them.
Yeah, I couldn't graduate from that, but good for them.
Yeah, not the school, the program.
Yeah. Shout out to the football program.
The football
though.
program over at Caledonia.
You laid some heavy foundation there.
Nope.
Nope.
No. I think
even
my
give
biggest
himself that.
biggest football moment in high school was just like literally an interception in my first freshman football game.
Oh hell yeah.
And then after that, it was just kind of
All
like
downhill.
No, not downhill, but I was just there.
Yeah.
You know,
After that, I was pretty much just
I knocked
hanging
balls
around.
down. I knocked a couple of balls down, made some good tackles, but I was just I was there
Yeah,
playing football, enjoying the shit.
I was just having a good time.
Couple concussions.
Other than that, hell yeah. Well, I just wanted to get a little bit of background on you. Who do you feel like are your inspirations in comedy? Like that kind of influence your writing or the way that you feel like you tell jokes.
I really liked the way Anthony Jeselnik writes. Obviously, the way he delivers is his own
succinctness.
Yeah, like the way he delivers is like his own thing, but just like the creativity in the writing, Anthony Jeselnik was always like kind of a one that like when I started actually writing jokes to do stand up, that's who I like kind of looked towards.
Yeah.
Same with like Attell. And then I would say in like recent years, like fucking Shane Gillis is fucking awesome, and he's
Definitely.
like it's crazy too because
His comfort and conversationalism on stage.
Yeah.
I think is something to definitely admire, especially when like bringing up like tough subjects or whatever. He's like you guys have to be with me. Like, he's gonna acknowledge. He's acknowledging
I need you on my side for this.
Yeah, we're gonna make it through this. But
this is gonna be a long one, but
yeah, just being able to like, I'm gonna level with you guys right now. I get it, stuff.
But yeah, and then like Tom Segura was one of the first like comedians that I saw live. I saw him at the Fox Theater before Ball Hog came out.
I think we both were at that same show.
And that's awesome. But yeah, that was a big turning point for me too, where I actually saw stand up live and was just like, whoa.
From someone you already admired.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, this is like really cool. Like, if my first time seeing stand up live was like, some like super shit like local or something like that.
Yeah.
Not to shit. I mean,
not to shit
local,
on all of our locals.
but like no, if my first time seeing comedy was someone who just like wasn't as good or whatever, then maybe it would have been different. But I saw Tom Segura for the first time, and it really like it's like when you're a kid going to your first baseball game. You're like, oh shit.
Yeah,
like,
and
this is huge.
Exactly. You're like, I've seen it on TV, but wow.
Yeah, it's like hearing the laughs and being around it and
watching
stuff.
him on stage move back and forth, put his foot up on the monitors, things. Yeah,
exactly. And then also too, like I had kind of just started paying attention to like podcasting at that time,
right?
So
and
you
YMH
just saw like
big up,
you saw like all the fans and stuff with like the t-shirts and shit. I'm like, oh, people actually like
other people
like
follow
ride
this
for this shit.
Yeah. Yeah, to see the like immense following in the stand-up community, like as of recent is just it was bad. It's still surprising to me.
It's like hardcore. It's like people are like team podcast this and that and
Right.
shit like that. Yeah.
Like, and yeah, because shout out to like everyone who came out to the Annie Letterman shows. Like a ton of them have been fans of all of her podcasts that she's done for years.
And it's like
where other people,
it's like new radio fans.
Exactly. Where there's still like a ton of people who don't even know who Annie Letterman is.
Yeah.
But to see that in West Michigan, or people who drove hours away even have that much like love for this bullshit. Obviously this podcast is not anywhere near any of Annie's podcasts or Tom Segura's podcast.
Me and my buddy, we drove out to Milwaukee to see Andrew Schultz, and that was a show that got rescheduled like 3 times because of COVID.
Right.
So it was just
we drove down to Cleveland to see Tim Dillon. So it's like similar.
I went down to
Tim
Cleveland to do stand up when like everything was locked up and I shouldn't say locked up, but when everything was outside.
It was near Cleveland for me, but yeah,
I went out to Cleveland because they were allowing things inside till like 9 or 10 o'clock or something.
Right.
So I was going down there and doing open mics and stuff. Driving to like, I was staying at my buddy's. I would drive to like Akron, and then I would drive. Right. Yeah,
it's like a 4 or 5 hour drive.
It was fun.
Yeah,
it was a good time.
It's not too bad.
Cleveland sucks, but it was a good time. Yeah, when you're in Cleveland with your homies, it's a good time.
Yeah, that's a good when you're in Cleveland with friends. It can be cool.
I went down there with friends that like aren't even like stand up. Mm-hmm. So like I just had like this entourage with me going to a fucking VA post in Akron.
Hell yeah, dude. Also to be like, what is this, a bringer show? I got 4 with me. Yeah, you need to bring those friends to New York or something, where you can then you can do some club time. And speaking of going to New York, are there any goals that you have for the future in your stand up?
Yeah,
right now.
Not to be like negative, but unfortunately Grand Rapids isn't a place where you can like take the next step.
There's a glass ceiling here,
it's a good place to like get going, and like it's awesome because whatever city I go to, I'm gonna go from 7-minute open mics to 3-minute open mics. And so my 3 minutes are gonna be
sharper
than someone's where they only have a couple of 3-minute sets while I've got like all these like 7-minute chunks or whatever.
Exactly. That could hurt you though is not
being slower.
And that's what I realized going to New York. Like that was one of the biggest, and that's like it's like
you don't have a minute
year
and a half
later
to get
now.
them on your side. You
exactly.
have 30 seconds.
You just have to come out funny. Yeah. And that's where I like I said, it's like a year and a half later or so since I've been to New York, but because of that, like I'm finally able now to just write shorter jokes. And again, speaking to Dave Attell and Anthony Jeselnik, it's that the economy of words, like just getting to your point in less.
Yeah, cutting the fat.
Cutting all that
it.
fat, trimming that fat.
Yeah, no, if there's anyone listening that like wants to try doing stand up, like don't start with stories.
Right.
Not to be like an ass, but it's just like no one wants to hear your dumb bar story between your buddies. Like
learn how to write a joke.
Exactly. Because that's what I tried doing. Because like I said, like Segura, like story guy. You know what I mean? Like mostly stories was fucking hilarious to me.
And when it's one of you, and Tom Segura is another person that I like. When I fell in love with when I started listening to his stand up, but because it was different than the other things I was hearing, and I was hearing more like Hannibal Buress also tells stories, but he has a few like setup punch jokes as well. And on Tom Segura's radio also came Mark Norman, and Mark Norman is a ton of just quick punches,
which is like so impressive.
You need
because
both, obviously.
To do an hour of quick punch jokes is super impressive because that's so many jokes.
Exactly.
Like the jokes are only taking 2 minutes to get through. Like you have to put together so many.
And then you have to realize that the jokes that made the special aren't all the jokes that they had written
leading up or
trying to
Yeah.
make that special, which is because you realize from doing stand up how many jokes fail or just like, well, that's not anything. I tried it a few times. That's not anything.
and one thing I wanted to say too is like now that I've been doing stand up longer, I've been kind of like, all right, now I feel like maybe I can try some of that story stuff
Some of the older
now that I
stuff,
know how to do the thing. I've been doing
Now
like
that
I took my training wheels off. Now it's like,
now that I know where to put these jokes.
Exactly.
Maybe I can do it a little bit better.
Yeah, no one wants to hear a dumb bar story where it pretty much ends with you having to pretty much shrug it off and be like, "Oh, you just had to be there."
Yeah, I guess you had to be there.
Yeah, it's like, no, like
I know how to end a story now.
Yeah, exactly. And I think everyone's got like crazy stories and stuff. And that was one thing too that gravitated me towards like writing jokes and stuff. I was like, I've had these like crazy moments that like, when I share it with people, they're like, what the fuck? Like you did that, you had to fucking this, that, you went through this or whatever. And so it'd be cool to, actually get that shit out into stand-up form because, it works drinking around in a fucking living room telling the fucking story.
To share those with an audience would be also pretty cool.
Yeah, but also, too, it's like now that it's been so many years since those stories, there's so much more of like a retrospect on it.
Yeah.
Where there's almost like a lesson to learn kind of thing to it.
Where it's
and
just
that's
more
what
perspective.
I want to try to cultivate that where it's just kind of like very like these retrospective, like wild moments that have like a real like actual lesson to it.
I was gonna say there can actually be a moral to this story.
And it's funny like through and through, it's a wild story or whatever, and there's different characters and shit that like I've ran into that like are fucking just wild. Like you do 6 months in county jail and fucking the characters you run into.
It's a longer stay than a lot.
Yeah, it's definitely don't recommend it. I mean, don't go 6 months for material's sake, but like you definitely meet some characters that like make you really think about like the psyche of people and like how they become what they are and shit. And so it's like, I don't know, I want to divulge some of that shit in my stand up and talk about, just I don't know, human nature is really weird and interesting to me just smoke weed and you're just like, whoa.
Yeah, I think being a stoner is what made me want to become a psychologist as well, and what inevitably led to stand up.
Being a psychologist would be a heavy job. Oh, would you be studying the shit or would you be like helping people through shit?
Probably
helping people.
I would try to do
hard.
both. I'd try to do both psychological therapy.
Do you think therapists get like? I mean, therapists have to be depressed also.
I mean, I know there's definitely therapists can also have mental.
Well, yeah, but like I feel like there's definitely some weight with that job.
Oh no, yeah, most definitely.
Like, and you can't say anything either.
Well, I mean, you can say stuff, but
like what to your wife?
You mean like
or
that?
Your husband?
Yeah, but you just
partner.
You can't talk to him about like
who that person is and stuff like that. But yeah, it's just like, I don't know, it's a lot of shit to divulge and stuff.
Yeah. Well, listen, we're not going to get into HIPAA laws and all that.
Yeah, no, we won't do all that.
We got to wrap this one up. Thank you so much, Sammy
really?
B. Yeah.
We're ending on HIPAA laws.
Yeah, well, we're ending right before HIPAA laws.
Oh, okay.
Thank you so much, Sammy B, for coming by. Again, you can follow Sam Berlin at samberlin.jokes. Not like the word dot, but like the period. Sam Berlin period got jokes.
Like the got milk. It's funny. Get it?
Get it? All pussy. Right.
Maybe you don't get it. But that's your fault.
And make sure you go see him at his Demented Peach shows. He's going to be at Shakespeare's in Kalamazoo. Yeah, dude, that's what we do. We're on the road all over Michigan.
And Michigan is terrible weather. I mean, are a lot of your listeners in Michigan?
Yeah.
Or is there anyone we're informing on?
We have a small percentage in Germany, but I feel like they're listening through a VPN for some reason.
That's interesting. All right, so to my German listeners,
yes, Theo, Hannes, we appreciate.
I'm just gonna go on a whim and assume you're in southern Germany. I don't know why, but it's because it's like less snowy or some shit. So maybe. I'm gonna be like, driving in Michigan fucking sucks, especially driving to Kalamazoo.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to do the whole like hand thing or whatever.
Right.
But you just drive straight south and it's just fields and farms. And so the wind just like whips your little fucking car.
It'll
off
blow
the
you all
highway.
And it just went very Midwest.
It's not good up here, bud.
It's not good up here.
Hey, make sure you got AAA.
And if you go to mid Michigan too, it's like a real wind tunnel. It's like a lot more tornadoes and stuff.
Tornadoes. You got to watch out about them tornadoes up there.
It's kind of north. Did you know?
Starts getting warm.
My coworker told me something today, and you know what? It doesn't matter. So yeah, follow.
I want to hear it.
No, follow Sam
okay.
Berlin. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at @the_HunterMiles. Follow the podcast on Instagram at Where Is This Going Pod and on Twitter at Where Is This Go Post. Send us an email with a news story, with a TikTok, a reel, your feedback on anything we've said at Where Is This Going Pod @gmail.com. Thank you guys so much for listening, for watching. Follow my TikTok and my Facebook, Hunter Miles Comedy. See ya.
Peace.